Disclaimer. The video you are about to watch may include content and articles that some viewers may find disturbing. Intended for mature audiences only. This is not for the faint of heart. Out of respect for Bianca Devins and her family, the gruesome photos in question are not in the video. Nor do I support the resharing the posting of these images. You have been warned. Viewer discretion is advised. The first question we're going to be answering: who is Bianca Devins? Bianca Michelle Devins was a 17-year-old girl from Utica, New York, often going by the names ST or Oxy Chan online. Bianca was often referred to as an e-girl. She was born on October 2, 2001, and was brutally murdered in the early morning of July 14, 2019, after attending a Nicole Dollanganger concert. Social media immediately grew fascinated with her after graphic images of her murder had been posted to Discord, Instagram, and other social media platforms. Rumors, false narratives, and stories ensued afterward. Rumors of decapitation, who her boyfriend was, people claiming to have known her despite never talking to her in the first place. Many people claiming to have connection with the 17-year-old. Today we're going to go over some truths and factual information. This video is not opinionated but based on evidence found and research collected. Please keep the comment section respectful. This is your final warning. This is not for the faint of heart. The City of Utica Department of Public Safety released this statement on July 15th. On Sunday, July 14th, 2019 at approximately 7:20 a.m. Oneida County Dispatch received numerous calls informing them that a male individual had posted to a social media site that he had killed his girlfriend and was threatening to harm himself. It was posted that this occurred in Utica, New York, and as such, the Utica Police Department began in-depth search for the male and female. The male in question then called 911 himself and made incriminating statements with respect to homicide. He also was alluding the fact he was going to harm himself. After determining that the calls were originating from Post Street in City of Utica, officers were dispatched to that location. Post Street is a dead-end street, which runs east and west from Culver Avenue. The street terminates into a wooded area where the first arriving officer located a black SUV with a male lying on the ground beside it. The officer approached this male and almost immediately he began to stab himself in the neck with a knife. The officer requested emergency medical care, and the Utica Fire Department arrived soon after. After attempting to injure himself, he laid down across a green and colored tarp that was on the ground some distance away. The officer immediately noticed brown hair protruding from beneath the tarp and inquired as to where the injured female was. The male advised him that the female was beneath the tarp and proceeded to pull out a cell phone. It was at this time that it is believed that the male took self-photographs of himself laying across the deceased female. Other officers arrived within moments and together they engaged the male. They were able to disarm the male, and after a brief struggle they took him into custody. He was then transported to St. Elizabeth's Hospital where he underwent emergency surgery. His injuries were severe, however, he is expected to survive. An interview with him will be undertaken today, and following that charges will be levied. As more personnel arrived on scene, the investigation commenced. Officers and investigators needed to verify the condition of the female underneath the tarp, and such as it was pulled back. Once this occurred, it was learned that a young female had suffered extensive injuries to her neck, and was obviously deceased. Numerous items of evidentiary value were located immediately around the body, as well as in and around the black SUV. To continue the investigation, we had to determine the relationship between the male and female involved. A tentative identification had been developed at this time, and we began to explore her history. With respect to their relationship, it was learned that the two had met on the social media platform Instagram approximately 2 months ago. They utilized this as a means of communication primarily, and their relationship progressed into a personally intimate one. They had spent time together, and were acquainted with each other's families. On Saturday, July 13th, 2019, the two had planned to a concert together in New York City. Information we received is that they in fact did go to the concert, arriving around 7:30 p.m. They left the venue and proceeded back to Utica sometime after 10 p.m. It is believed that some sort of argument ensued at the venue that precipitated the following engagement between the two. Sometime during the early morning hours of Sunday, July 14th, 2019, the two arrived back in Utica and proceeded to the Post Street location. The investigation unveiled that the argument progressed until the male produced a large, black-handled knife and used this to inflict the injuries that caused her death. During this time, it is believed that he took and distributed photographs of the killing on the Discord platform. Members of Discord then viewed the images and posts and contacted the Utica Police Department. We can confirm that the images distributed of both the victim and the offender's injuries are authentic and occurred at the time of the incident. We are actively working with various social media platforms to address the sharing and distribution of these images. The name of the victim in this incident is Bianca Devins, age 17, of Utica, New York. Offender, Brandon Clark, age 21, has a current address of Bridgewater, New York. We offer our condolences to the family of Bianca Devins and are assisting in every way we can. Attached to this release is a photograph and statement from Bianca's family. They are currently being assisted with media inquiries by Romanelli Communications. To sign up for notifications if/when the family makes further statements regarding services, please go to www.romanelli.com/media. This webpage should be live this evening and will be updated from time to time. Notifications will be sent to all who register at the site. The Utica Police Department will be granting requests for individual interviews and statements. We ask that you contact Public Information Officers, Lieutenant Brian Coromato or Sergeant Michael Curley to schedule these. The Utica Police Department takes the offenses and claims of domestic violence seriously. We seek to be at the forefront in assisting victims and their families and preventing these acts from occurring. We ask the public that if you or someone you know are affected, please contact the Utica Police Department at 315-735-3301 and ask for our domestic violence unit. As an aside, this incident was occurring as the Boilermaker 15K road race was about to begin, and as such the start of the race had to be delayed approximately 20 minutes. The event had no affiliation with the race, and no race participants were involved or affected in any way. We thank the staff and volunteers of the Boilermaker for their assistance, and thank the runners for their patience and understanding during the incident. Brandon Clark's brother, who was serving up in Alaska at the time, posted a statement on Instagram along with photos on July 14, 2019 after hearing about the murder. James Ward wrote, "Shout out to all the people who target someone's family and blame them for a person's decisions. Nothing better than waking up at 4 a.m. to find out your brother killed someone and tried to kill himself, and when you're trying to understand and comprehend how the person you looked up to and taught you so much is responsible for such a horrible act, and people proceed to go out and blame you for what he did. So here I'm stationed in Alaska for military service, wanting nothing more than to wake up and be back home, hoping this is some sick twisted nightmare. Instead I'm all the way across the country. I'm deeply sorry something like this came from my family, and my heart goes out for the family of the victim, but think about when his little sister and brothers find out what a disgusting thing he's done and get blamed for it. They're kids." At this time it was believed that Clark was Bianca's boyfriend and they shared a type of relationship. Soon after media outlets and platforms pushed this false narrative out, personal friends of Bianca were forced to set the truth out on the table. A friend of Bianca had anonymously created a Twitter account by the name of BB with this username. It's no longer active but gleaned some light on the relationship she shared with Brandon Clark. On July 15, 2019, BB posted, "I'm saddened by the amount of misinformation spread about Bianca. As someone who was a friend of hers and in the server when it happened, I can tell you these things which are fact. 1. Bianca's head was not cut off. 2. Nothing was posted on Instagram Live but to Discord. 3. The killer wasn't a stalker or her ex-boyfriend, nor was he someone she knew online. She was friends with him in real life and he even met her mother. 4. The guy posted about local murder-suicides in Bianca's area, leading me to believe this was premeditated." An update on July 19, 2019 by News Channel 9 WSYR Syracuse, reported that Brandon Clark had entered a not guilty plea to the grand jury indictment against him. He stood a count of second-degree murder for intentionally causing the death of Bianca Devins. Oneida County law enforcement believed this killer, also known as Brandon Clark, was a person she met online. They believed he had become jealous of another individual Bianca was believed to have a relationship with. Although this cannot be confirmed, it is confirmed that this individual and Bianca shared more than just a friendly exchange that night. In these screenshots between Bianca and her friend, this is what occurred. He smells so nice. Lol. Sniff. I told him to tidy up. Is he still super awkward? No. He's perfect. I'm in love. Is he still being shy or talkative? Shy right now, but he smiled. Smoked. We held hands and my friend is so mad. He saw us kiss. I kissed him twice. Based on this screenshot, we can come to the assumption that Brandon Clark was this friend she was referring to. Brandon Clark confirms driving Bianca to Post Street. She's falling asleep on the way there. These details are confirmed by the judge and Clark within the courtroom. Before Brandon wakes Bianca up, he sets up a video camera up on the dash. He then collected his knife, the murder weapon. He hid the knife to his right side before waking her. He tells Bianca he'd like to have a conversation about the kiss. She let Clark know the two were not an item. From that point on, Clark tells Bianca, "That's not good enough." He then slapped Bianca across the face. After Bianca got herself dressed, she sat back down. Clark then grabbed her by the back of her head. The judge made it clear he didn't make a clean slice. In fact, the judge uses the word saw, implying he had to look for an artery. The judge explains, in order to look for an artery he couldn't have just sliced. He would have had to saw into her throat. In return, Clark replies, "It was multiple slices, ma'am." He had this recorded on a video. As she's laying in the back seat of his car, Clark took out his phone. He then proceeded to record her last breaths. After he's finished recording, he then took the photographs of her corpse. Throughout the night he made several posts to his Instagram page. Prior to these posts, Brandon Clark had made a list on his phone. The list included: change Instagram bio to "I'm not coming back," birth and death dates, his full name, "Just know I feel no pain now," livestreamed last song. It's confirmed at this point Brandon Clark changed his Instagram handle to Yes Juliet. He then states it's been his username from the age of 16. He didn't know why he wanted to change it back to Yes Juliet, but states it would have been easier to find his Instagram by people who knew him. After he added his birth and death date with the expectation he would have died the day. On Instagram he then posted a quote, "This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time." After that he posted again, this time saying, "Here comes hell. It's redemption, right?" Alongside the quote he posted the image of Bianca Devins with the knife next to her body. On his Facebook account he posted, "I'm ending it today. I'm sorry to all the family and friends who wanted me to achieve. I love you all." After updating his Facebook, he moved over to Discord. He then sent the following: "Sorry fuckers, you're going to have to find somebody else to orbit." His username at the time was Apparitia. Underneath the message the image of Bianca's corpse was posted. For obvious reasons it's been censored. Once again, I do not support the resharing of this image. One user sent, "What the fuck," and pinged a moderator. Another said, "The date is from today. That image is from today. The hair length, color is the same as hers at the moment. The eyeliner is what she usually puts on. Brown eyes. Apparitia, where did you get that image from?" Which Brandon replies, "My fucking car. I fucked Bianca, dumbass." Anyways, remember to subscribe to PewDiePie. Also to Alex with the Chinese username. Hope it was worth it. She was going to go home today. Another user sends, "Who is she?" Brandon responds, "Her full name's Bianca Michelle Devins of Utica, New York, by the way." The other user replies, "RIP." In response Brandon sends, "Should be a few articles within a couple days. Have fun." Brandon does not recall the exact time he spray painted "May you never forget me" on the road. He assumes it's not long before he made the 911 call. He makes another post to Instagram with another photo of Bianca's body with the caption, "I'm sorry, Bianca." Once again, this image will not be posted out of respect to Bianca and her family. Brandon Clark then posts an image to his Snapchat. Within this photo, his hands covered in blood are visible, along with her body, but this time it's covered with what appears to be a tarp. Again saying, "I'm sorry, Bianca." He doesn't remember the exact time when he removed her body from the car, but believes he removed her body from the car an hour after the murder. He laid her out and covered her with what he refers to as his childhood blanket, stating he kept it in his car for when he'd visit Bianca. When he did see her asleep at the local Walmart, he placed her belongings next to her body. He then laid on her body, setting up a Bluetooth speaker. The song he played was "I Remember" by Deadmau5. He confirms having this song on a continuous loop. Brandon Clark then turned to Snapchat, posting another photo, this time a selfie of himself with the caption, "Thanks to everyone who was good to me. I'll miss you all." He then posted another image with the phrase, "Ashes to ashes," to his Snapchat. He then confirms having had taken another photo of himself laying across the tarp on her body with the cut to his throat. He claims this was a screenshot and didn't go out. Shortly after, the law enforcement arrives on scene. As the police make the arrest, he states, "You can't fix this." Within the courtroom, the prosecutor then brings up the fact Bianca's cell phone did not have a passcode on it, asking Brandon if he took a look at her phone while she was asleep, and denies this. After the murder took place, many users took their own stance against these images, reporting the gruesome photo of Bianca to their platforms in hopes to have them removed. Many users were angered and discouraged to have this message sent back to them. "Hello, user. Thank you for taking the time to report this person's photo. While we reviewed the post, you reported for violence or threat of violence and found it does not violate our community guidelines. Reports like yours are an important part of making Instagram safe and welcoming place for everyone." On Sunday morning, July 14th, Bianca's mother was woken up by the Utica police ringing her doorbell. They were performing a welfare check because someone saw something online that led them to believe that Clark may have hurt Bianca. Everything went into slow motion, her mother told Huffington Post. She called her father, who lived down the street, and told him to come over immediately. The house began to fill with concerned friends and family members. They stood around, looking at their phones and waiting for an update. Then, a friend of Kim Devins' 15-year-old daughter Olivia made a tortured sound. Someone had direct messaged her the picture. A photo of Bianca's murder made its way into Kim's house before her daughter's body had even been identified. Immediately, Kim's family and friends reported the image to Instagram and to the police. But instead of removing the photos instantly, as Kim's family expected, Instagram responded that the photos either did not violate Instagram's community guidelines, which dictate what is allowable content, or that they could remain up with a sensitive content warning, which blurred the photo but allowed users to click through to see it. The following day, a HuffPost reporter flagged graphic photos of Bianca to Instagram and received the same response. In one case, it took Instagram 10 hours to respond, only to determine the image could remain online. Her family says photos remained on Instagram for a week, and occasionally still pop up today. On February 10th, 2019, Brandon Andrew Clark pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, admitting his guilt to being the cause of Bianca Michelle Devins' death. After being sentenced, Brandon had a statement and said the following: "I would like to apologize to the family and friends of Bianca for how long this has dragged on for. I'm sure they just want this to be over. It's never been my intention to deny my guilt to the events of July 14th, and this should have come a lot sooner. My attorney was adamant that I really consider what I would be doing today and what it meant, and I have thought about it. Every day since July 14th, I've thought about it. About all the terrible things I did that day. Things that the word tragedy really isn't enough for it. I've thought about the lives I've torn apart with my actions. And I thought about Bianca, and how she didn't deserve what happened to her. And I think I need to realize that what I did I can't undo, as much as I want to. and I need to face it. And I apologize to all the people that knew and loved her. I apologize to everybody affected by this. To everybody who had to see that horrific picture of her. I know that sorry is not enough. I know it won't take back what I did. And I wish I had more to give. I wish I had more to give. In an interview with HuffPost, Karina Newton, head of public policy at Instagram, stressed that the images did violate the platform's community guidelines and should have been immediately removed. But content moderation relies on human judgment, she said, and mistakes happen. Instagram and Facebook have around 15,000 content moderators who are responsible for making quick decisions about whether posts should stay or go. Generally, we say that we get it wrong about 1 in 10 times, she said. Sometimes we take down content that we shouldn't have taken down. Sometimes we leave up content that we should have removed. Instagram used image hashing technology to find and remove photos of Bianca's body, she said. In simple terms, Instagram created a hash or digital fingerprint of each prohibited image and added them to a database of banned photos. We use algorithms to find content that matches that hash in order to detect it and potentially remove it, she said. We also automatically delete new content which people are attempting to upload if it matches the hash in our database. Efforts to scrub images of Bianca from Instagram were stymied by users who uploaded new, manipulated copies of the images, she said. We were taking images down as fast as they were being uploaded, she said. But each different version of the image requires a different hash. Kim is not satisfied with this response. Both Instagram and Facebook overstated how quickly they took the pictures down, she said. There were pictures found on Facebook well into September, buried in comments in cover photos. I posted a tribute to Bianca with music. The post was immediately muted due to copyright. However, the graphic and violent photo of my daughter after she was murdered was allowed to be spread. In the days following her daughter's death, trolls blasted Kim's social media accounts with the images in an unrelenting digital attack. Others used the photos to gain new followers and falsely claimed to have video of the attack. On top of the realization that her daughter was gone, she had to contend with the knowledge that strangers were reveling in her family's greatest pain. I'm disgusted, she said. I just kept saying, what is wrong with this world that you think that's acceptable? I don't understand it. She's someone's daughter. In August, Kim's congressman, Rep. Anthony Brindisi, DNY, asked Instagram to do an independent audit of Bianca's case and to provide the family with information about how long it took to remove the images. Facebook, Instagram's parent company, has promised to share an evaluation of the case with Kim, though said it could not be an independent audit because of the sensitive data involved. But 5 months after Bianca's death, Kim is still waiting. Haney Farid, a professor at the University of California, Berkeley, whose research focuses on digital forensics and image analysis, slammed Instagram's handling of the photos. It should not take days or weeks to remove offending images. It should be minutes to hours, he said. If somebody says, this is an image of a gruesome murder, Instagram should have the human resources to look at it immediately. This is an emergency. Farid is very familiar with the image hashing technology that Instagram uses to halt the spread of prohibited images. In 2009, he helped to develop Fodna, software that is used to detect and remove child sexual abuse imagery online. In his expert opinion, Instagram and other companies have the technology to do better. The fact they are simply not is absolutely inexcusable and borders on criminal activity, he said. At the end of the day, the easiest thing for them to do is to not be in the content moderation business because it's hard and it's expensive and it requires difficult decision making. Even after Bianca's death, Kim is still haunted and taunted by her daughter's brutal murder. Kim Devins was a price chopper buying milk when her iPhone dinged with a message. Someone was trying to airdrop her photos of her teenage daughter's dead body. Kim's friend snatched the phone out of her hand and hit decline before Kim saw the screen. The action was, by this point, automatic. It had been 2 days since Bianca Devins, 17, was found dead, and gory images of her body were going viral. As Kim staggered around grief-drunk, making funeral plans for her firstborn child. Online trolls taunted her with the photos her friends had taken to obsessively monitoring her messages and social media accounts, forming a human firewall to protect Kim from a sight she could not unsee. The internet responded in the absence of action by Instagram. Frustrated social media users stepped up to help. They flooded Instagram with photos of pink clouds tagged with hashtag #RipBianca, so that anyone who looked up the hashtag would see positive images, not gore. After Bianca's passing, her family and friends have chosen to focus on celebrating her life through art and fashion. In fact, her family held a big gala on February 15, 2019 for the Bianca Michelle Devins Memorial Scholarship Fund. This memorial fund was established by the Devins/Williams family to provide scholarships to students pursuing a degree in psychology so they can continue Bianca's dream to help adolescents with mental illness. Links to support this scholarship fund will be in the description below. Articles and references will also be listed below. In conclusion, Bianca was laid to rest on Friday, July 19, 2019 at the Forest Hills Cemetery.